The families of the Cradock Four are planning to sue government for what they say has been a failure to prosecute those behind the 1985 murders of the anti-apartheid activists. It follows the recent death of Hermanus Barend du Plessis, who was the last living suspect. For more on this, we can speak tonight to Calata's daughter, Dorothy, who's joining us tonight. A very good evening to you, Dorothy. Thank you for your time. Let's begin with the grounds on which you believe, as the families, you will now be able to sue the state.
The grounds on which we believe we will, good evening to you, Tembekile, and to the viewers. The grounds on which we believe we can be able to sue the state, firstly, on the gross neglect of constitutional duty. The state has actually been cited to be involved by having political interference with the case. And that was something that was stated by a previous head of the NPA. It is something which is on record. So we believe that the delay within the justice really in this case has been a denial of this justice. And so we feel as a family that we are actually going to go ahead and sue the state primarily so that no other family within the South African context who have gone through this gross violation of human rights have to go through what we have gone through as a family.
Why sue now? Pardon me, I was going to ask, why sue now when you've long held the view that indeed there's just an unwillingness to basically bring the killers of people such as your father to justice?
I think what we actually didn't bring forth is that behind closed doors, the NPA has actually been meeting with us as the families, and they have been trying, I think, to sort of have a negotiation process of trying to prove maybe in a way that they are trying to do something about it. And we have realized that actually the processes that they have been embarking upon were also processes of delay, where it's been tactics of delaying our pursuit of justice, really, because they were citing problems more than giving us like solutions. The now part of it, to be honest with you, is that we have always had hope, I think, that finally we are going to be able to have this process of the criminal justice moving forward. We have been hoping, we have been working, trying to understand where our state was coming from. And I think what I really have to state here that should also be understood is we have often felt that this is the government of the ANC. We don't want to be very harsh on them. We want to give them this opportunity to show onto us that they understand the importance of justice to us as these families.
Right.
I think the now comes from the fact that it is very, very obvious that there has been a play starting from the government of the first government, the democratic government, that there's been a play there, downplay the importance of justice. And I think Lukanya said on many platforms previously that there has been a selling out really of that process. But it's been complicated by the hope that we have had and constantly hoping that eventually something is going to happen. I think now of it is about realizing that actually we have been fooled as the families, that the tactic has been to actually buy time for these individuals to die.
Right. So I'm curious about the interactions you've been having with the NPA, the issues raised, and why it is you believe that everything that's transpired from their end has been, as you're saying, an attempt to buy time. So as what has now happened, all the suspects, all the accused basically have now died.
Yes, I think there's one individual from those who were listed that survived, and it's more of legal terms to say if there's one individual, there's not going to be any other person who's going to speak against that one person. What I have to also state here is that this is not out of lack of trying to push these cases, to be honest with you. As we've been engaging with the NPA over the past year, what we have learned is how protected these individuals were by the state. So it's not out of lack of trying that that there hasn't been a push for prosecution. There has just been a denial of this justice by the state. You know, these individuals were protected. The lawyers found it very difficult to reach the individuals. When one eventually got to them, they've got one particular lawyer who was like an umbrella lawyer for all of them. And that person has had extreme power to close off that sphere. So the state has been very instrumental also in protecting these individuals. I'm just correcting now what I said about, just having hope. We have been actively working, but there were a lot of forces that have actually been working against us to show that there has been an unwillingness for these prosecutions.
A very brief one, if you can, Dorothy. When do you expect the formal proceedings to begin as far as your intention now to sue the state?
As soon as possible. We are having a meeting, I think on the 22nd, with the lawyers. We have already contacted the other family members, and we are all on board, basically, as there's been this body of the families who've been dealing with the lawyers and even the people from the NPA. So we're having our meeting next week, and we're hoping that the process is going to embark very, very soon thereafter.
Dorothy,
the primary reason for us really to embark on this is that our state is really governed by courts nowadays. So we are going to court as a manner of maneuvering so that the state can be able to work, more especially the ANC government, the ANC government. It seems to be fumbling, I think, with how to govern this country.
Dorothy, I'm afraid we're going to have to leave it there. My apologies. We are completely out of time. Dorothy Calata speaking to us a very important matter. We'll have you on once again when the formal proceedings have begun. But for tonight, thank you so much for your time.